We're just about to send off these two computers, and I wanted to show you these because they're about to go on the website, or at least the style is going on the website very shortly. You're going to be able to choose a few different options in these cases. So I thought I'd show you around the PC, show you what you can expect and what you can get out of it. Just a disclaimer, this PC is not something that we've built fresh. This is a rebuild of a customer's PC. This is Jacqueline's new computer using parts from her old case. She did have a Fentex P360X case, which is a mid-sized tower, but there was a micro ATX motherboard in there and it didn't have a liquid cooler, and there was a few bits that weren't quite as nice. So we've rebuilt it inside this, which is a Deepcool Macube 110 in white. And the reason I'm showing you this one is because we just finished Josh's PC, which is about to be sent out, and that's built inside the NZXT H510, and this is the one with the flat front. It's in white, of course, and they look very similar. So you're going to find both of these as a product on the website very soon. It's going to be in the pre-built section, and I wanted to show you the similarities between the two, show you what the differences are, because they aren't the same size case and they're not even made by the same brand, but they just look very similar. And if you want that minimalistic kind of look, these are the ones that you should consider. All right, so this is the first one I wanted to show you. This was built for Josh and it's going to WA today. We're sending this one off. It's inside the NZXT H510. It's obviously the white edition. This is a very minimalistic kind of style, and it's a really popular style for the guys that don't want crazy RGB everywhere. It's kind of the opposite of what a Lian Li PC is normally built as. This one specifically has an AMD Ryzen 7 5700X and an AMD RX 6900 XT. So if you've followed some of the stories on Instagram and Facebook that I've posted, you'll know that this kind of setup can get over 200 FPS at 1080p on COD Warzone. If you play COD Warzone at 200 FPS, you can play anything you want. The 6900 XT is actually on par with an RTX 3080 Ti for a lot of games, and on par with a 3090 Ti for a few games. And there are a few games where a 3070 will beat it, but it just depends on the game you're playing. Some games prefer NVIDIA, some prefer AMD. Warzone, for example, prefers AMD at the minute, so per dollar you get better performance with something like this. Now the liquid cooler on this one is subject to change because they are pretty hard to get in Australia, but it's an Arctic Freezer 2 liquid cooler, and if you recognize the name, you'll know how good these are, especially per dollar, for an AMD processor. They are near enough the best you can get the amount of money that you're going to spend. Now this PC has 16 gig of DDR4 RGB 3600 MHz Corsair RAM, which is perfect for gaming and streaming. You wouldn't need any more because you're going to use about 12 to 15 gig all up. If you're not using all of the RAM, getting more will not make it faster. This motherboard is an Asus TUF B550 Plus Gaming, which is perfect because it means that you get to use Asus Armoury Crate to control all of the RGB inside the PC. So we've gone with 4 fans in this one. We've got 2 at the front, 1 at the top, 1 at the back, which is the most that these cases can fit. We've got the MSI F12A. So if you want to go for the classic NZXT style, you can get the Air 2 fans, but it costs a fair bit more, and it's really only if you prefer that style. You can change this up however you like though. So if you want to get a custom PC and put the Air 2 fans in there, just ask. We've got black braided sleeve cables to finish off the look, and it definitely makes it look more minimalistic compared to putting some of the Lian Li Strymon cables in there. And Josh has gone for a 1TB NVMe SSD in this one with a 2TB hard drive. Now you have got another slot for an NVMe SSD just here, so you're not stuck with what you start with. You can always add a second SSD, and they go up to about 4 TB at the minute. And I'll just turn the PC around so you can see the front of the case. You can see how minimalistic that is. Obviously a glass panel goes on the side here when it's getting sent out. So if you like the kind of case where you can't see the fans at the front, this is perfect for you. Now this one is very similar in terms of aesthetics. This one's built for Jacqueline. I'm not going to go too in depth on what parts are in this one because these are her parts. They're not something that we've provided. They are used parts. It's got an RTX 2080 Super in there, which you can see just here. And you will notice that there's quite a lot of horizontal space inside this case, so you can fit some pretty high-end graphics cards in there. And airflow is better than it seems. You have a 240mm slot at the top for the liquid cooler. We've got 3 fans at the front just here. These are black fans. We've got 1 fan at the back as well. This one's liquid cooled, and this PC on the website will also be liquid cooled. We've got white braided sleeved cables to match the case itself. If you want to get the black edition of this case, it generally comes with black braided sleeved cables instead. You can find that right now. It's called the Hurricane Pro. You'll find this one on the website within the week as well. Now, like I said, I won't spend too much time on the parts inside this one since this is a rebuild, but I will show you the front of the case, and you'll see how similar it is in terms of styling to the NZXT case. And I've just put them side by side so you can see the similarities in these cases. They are a very similar style. Of course, this is a mid tower, this is a micro tower. So the motherboard in this one is a lot smaller, but overall the actual aesthetic style is very similar. You're going to see as well, it's not really too much smaller, even though it's a micro case. So if you're looking for a very minimalistic style PC, this is the kind of case you should go for. It's not too loud, it's not going to annoy you with the lights at night, but they're nice clean cases.